Welcome back to the Pro Voice podcast. My name is JT O'Donnell. I'm the founder and CEO of Work It Daily and the host of Pro Voice. And today's topic is agility, ethics, and engagement. We're talking about leading teams that thrive. And I've got three fantastic Pro Voicers here to help me with this discussion. Kicking it off with Ron Stokes. He's a software engineering and agile strategist, followed up by Megan Burns, a growth strategist marketing leader in veterinarian and healthcare industries. Super cool. And Jerry Rice, a global communications and employee engagement strategist. Welcome, everybody. And let's get it started by mic checking and make sure that everybody's mics are working just fine. So Megan, I'm going to put you in the hot seat. In 20 words or less, can you share a defining moment where you led a team through a change or a challenge successfully?
Thank you, JT. Yes, I helped a veterinary startup clarify their launch positioning and go-to-market strategy, leading to 8x ROI, $1.5 million in savings, and 30% in sales growth.
Alrighty, and her mic is working just fine, and those were some awesome numbers. Hello, cannot wait to get into that. Ron, tell us a story.
I'd say by using agile strategies and frameworks, they boost focus and collaboration and foster fast feedback, reducing delays and rework to deliver value faster.
I love it. Agile is such a hot topic. I know it's been around for a while, but I think people are only starting to just understand how important it is into the, actual scale of software engineering development. Looking forward to getting to more of that. And Jerry, what about you, my friend?
I'll talk crisis communication. So at the beginning of the COVID pandemic, we set our leaders up as the single source of truth and good science in kind of a world of disinformation, and just set ourselves up for success for the next kind of 18 months navigating that crisis.
It's amazing to me how people don't think they need crisis communications or specialists until there's a crisis.
Very true.
A lot of people learning that one the hard way, huh? Excellent, folks. All right, mics are in check. Everybody's doing well. It's time for Signal Boost. I love this because I want each of you to give me a shout out, a product, a book, a thing, a person. I don't care. Talk to me about something that you think is really important when it comes to this topic today. And why don't we start with Ron?
Yeah, thanks, JT. I guess I equate the evolution of Agile with the introduction and disruption that AI is having today, although not as dramatic and fast-paced. What I mean by that is Agile, as we know it today, has evolved from where it was in the early 90s. It was considered a disruptor back then when different software teams were looking for new adaptive, lightweight approaches to software development. This led into approaches such as Scrum, extreme programming, and others. Agile would then be organized and become official in 2001 with the publication of the Agile Manifesto. And from there, we saw those approaches formalized into frameworks in the 2000s. In the 2010s, it really hit the mainstream and were scaled when some of the tech giants adopted them. Before the pandemic, it gained traction outside of tech in areas like marketing, human resources, and healthcare. Then the pandemic really accelerated its appeal as enterprise models emerged. Today, it's considered a standard for tech delivery and essential for digital transformation and collaboration. I go into all this background to say that I see Agile continuously evolving, becoming more agile, if you will, leveraging AI with DevOps, DevSecOps, and emphasizing continuous learning and automation.
Agile becoming more agile. All right. So we've decided that we're going to start these success quotes. Remember those cheesy success quotes posters that would go on the walls of companies? We're going to start a Pro Voice series. And I think Agile being more agile is like a great one. I also think you've just defined Agile as the OG, right? It's the GOAT in terms of that whole lineage and the impact it's having. So I love that history lesson. That was awesome, Ron. Let's jump over to Megan. Megan, what's your shout out?
Sure. One trend I'm seeing in transforming teams is omni-channel strategy. And that's not just for your customers. It's for internal alignment as well. And I think a lot of companies kind of overlook that because when product sales and marketing speak the same language across different channels, whether that be digital, social, and through in-person touch points, the team becomes more agile, speaking of agile, and the brand builds real traction.
I love it. I think I'm going to start doing on this podcast, like secret word of the day. And when it gets hit, like Agile, ding, 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 right? On one of the other episodes, it was AI. It was like, how long before someone says AI in the episode? Also, I just love how omni-channel is a really nice way of saying herding cats. Because of all
That's
the
what I
things
do every day.
Right? Literally in veterinarian. I'm not kidding. Pun intended, but seriously, no joke. And I see that trend growing hugely. So thank you for sharing that one, spotlighting it. Jerry, what about you?
Yeah, I'm going to give a shout out to good old fashioned Chat GPT. Internal communications tools kind of always lag a little bit behind like bigger marketing tools, things like that. But Chat GPT has been kind of a go-to brainstorming buddy, first draft writer, kind of headline tester. Just don't ask it to fact check yet because it still makes things up in Chat GPT 4.5.
Seriously, garbage in, garbage out, my friends.
Yeah,
You got to be careful.
sure.
You got to fact check the Chat GPT. That is so true. But man, has it changed our lives, right? It is absolutely. I use it every day. It's replaced Google search for me. Sorry, Google. But the truth is, I have the app and I'd rather ask it, get an answer with no ads. That's the way it is. So great shout outs to everything. Listen, folks, we're going to take a quick break from our sponsors. But when we come back, it is Work It or Waste It. By far my favorite episode where we're going to get into it with these three. So stay tuned. This is an executive wake-up call. If you're a professional that's feeling overlooked and underutilized and quite frankly invisible, listen up, this one's for you. These days, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. You need visibility in order to attract the best opportunities. So if you feel like you've been stuck in the executive wasteland, you need to start using your Pro Voice. Your Pro Voice is a modern form of personal branding, and it's how you make sure that you get the best opportunities, raises and promotions, fractional work, and any other kind of opportunity that you're looking for in your latter half of your career. Executives today need to stand out. And if you don't understand how to do that with your Pro Voice, you are not going to get the respect and the opportunities you want and deserve. If you're interested in working directly with me and my team, you can do that with our Pro Voice platform. And right now, because you're listening to this podcast, I'm going to give you a discount. Pro Voice 50 will get you $50 a month off the monthly membership. Cancel at any time. And as a bonus, use the Pro Voice 50 and you will get a 30-minute one-on-one call with me to kick off your Pro Voice. And that is a $399 value. So what are you waiting for? It's time to use your Pro Voice to get the respect that you want and deserve, but more importantly, get the opportunities that you need. Sign up today at workitdaily.com, use Pro Voice 50, and I'll see you there. Welcome back, folks. This is the segment Work It or Waste It, where we dissect a hot topic. And I want to talk about strategies for change in the office, in the organization, right? Like companies are always like the only constant is change. People are always putting initiatives in, but I want to hear from you all. Are they really working? I mean, be honest with me. Have you ever seen an initiative work? And if you have seen an initiative work, can you tell me what the secret sauce was? Because I just think my vote overall is that companies try this, they put so much into it and it still doesn't work, but I want to be proven wrong today. So why don't we start with, let's pick on Megan first. Megan, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. So, culture is how your brand operates internally before it ever reaches the market. I worked with a company that was clarifying their cultural values, especially around speed, science, and story. And it actually helped unite the executive team, the marketing team, and the technical services team. Performance followed because everybody understood how to move forward in the same direction.
That is so interesting. Let me ask you a quick question. Do you think it's easier in a startup? I'm going to put you in the hot seat, Megan. It's easier in a startup where you can build culture from the get-go versus trying to pivot and change it mid-cycle. What's your take on that? What have you seen?
I've seen it work both ways, but I definitely think it's easier to influence culture in an early stage company because, essentially they're building the boat as it's already been put in the water. So you have the ability to be a little bit more, again, agile as you're doing that. So since that's the word of the day. So thank you.
Totally. Yeah. Love it. Ron, speaking of agile, you started off with the word. What's your take on this?
Yeah, I would say that a strong culture is vital to the success of any agile team. And it all starts at the top, right? Leadership must be fully bought in and on board, as there are so many decisions to be made to implement Agile. Without senior leadership support, there's going to be a lot of banging heads against walls. The individual contributor is not exempt either. They're also a vital part because they're the worker bees, right? Mm-hmm. If they don't get the vision and understand the why, nothing's going to get done. And it can't ever always be a one and done conversation either. It takes continuous nurturing to stay focused on the goals and outcomes. I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with team members concerned with the approach by saying that, how is this agile? Or I don't feel empowered to do anything. It took the work to remind them that Agile is a mindset and not a strict set of rules to follow. Depending on how your team is organized, there's a lot of leeway on how the job can get done.
Love it. All right. New t-shirt, Agile is a mindset. I'm digging it. I think the word of the day, we're going to get it on there.
It works. It works.
It does. And Ron, you triggered something in me. I remember being told early on in the recruiting industry, like if the top is an A player and they hire a B player is going to hire a C player. C player is going to hire a D player, right? It's like, if you want a great organization, it does start at the top, and all the things that you talked about and making sure that it's constantly coached too is so key. There's a lot of things to juggle there in order to get that to work for sure. Jerry, agree, disagree, thoughts? What's your take?
Yeah, I think Ron hit on something important. So culture change starts at the top, but it also requires constant care and feeding. So it has to flow through the organization, and you really have to keep it going and keep it in kind of constant motion. I think a great example, I worked with a retail company, and they were trying to figure out how do we improve our customer service, and how do we really engage our people. And we put in kind of a recognition program that not only rewarded people for doing the right things, but set up a meeting that reinforced that every week. So you actually brought together your staff and you rewarded the people in front of everybody in a way that connected their behaviors to the values that you want to see as they're interacting with customers. They won gift cards. They were excited to win. People saw why they won. That was the most important thing, is calling out those behaviors and really telling people, this is what they did. This is why we're improving. And we just saw a massive, massive improvement in customer engagement and store sales, not just kind of locally, but all across the country. Fantastic program. But yeah, constant care and feeding. But yeah, certainly starts at the top, like Ron said.
So amazing, because you're all in different industries and fields, and yet universally we heard culture. Universally we heard communication. Consistent communication. Universally we heard, agile, agility, and so it just shows you all, everyone, it doesn't matter. There are certain things, in order for this to actually work in your organization, there are some universal truths, right? That I think all of you got at here today, which is amazing. So it sounds like we're going to work it. We're not going to waste it when it comes to change in this one. I think that's fantastic. Let's move into our segment called In Your Industry, because I would like to hear from each of you. You're all in very different industries. Like, when you look at where this kind of thing is going in your space, what's working? How is it changing? What's working? Is there something specific you can shine the light on? So why don't we start with Jerry first? We haven't started with you first yet.
Yeah, happy to. So I would say in the communications and employee engagement space right now, authenticity is the big word. So if you want to create that next t-shirt, it's authentic leader. But authenticity, your employees just respect that. I always say, don't let perfection be the enemy of connection. And too many leaders think that they need to be perfect in their delivery and perfect in their messaging. When it really comes down to it, employees are looking for someone like them that they can connect to. So they want to hear about the mistakes. They want to hear about the things that didn't go well and what you're doing to course correct. And that authenticity is going to just help you gain momentum with your people.
Yeah. Okay. So now we get another poster. What was that quote? Don't let what? Perfection what?
Don't let perfection be the enemy of connection.
Okay. We need the wall art and the t-shirt on that one. I love it. I love it. Megan, what about you?
Absolutely. Yeah. Just Jerry, send me the link to where I can purchase those when you get those up. So, cause I'm all in. So
already working on it.
Awesome. Yeah. Kind of building on authenticity, right? So in early stage animal health, I see a big shift towards data-driven storytelling. So there are definitely elements of authenticity there. And founders aren't just using that data to pitch to investors, because I regularly work with founders that are pitching to major strategics and so forth, but they're using that data to actually define their go-to-market strategy, and even longer term, from initial regulatory pathways to approval all the way through lifecycle management. And that alignment early on sets the tone for team cohesion and scalable growth.
Okay, can we just talk about data-driven storytelling? You said that in the beginning. Mm-hmm. You did that in the mic drop, and it was instant, right? Like, you were able to convey an entire story with data points that immediately created impact. And so I absolutely love that. I wish I saw more of that. Just across the board, I wish people more were adapting. That's fantastic. Ron, what about you? What are you seeing?
think I'm probably going to expand on what Megan said, right? I think, and also to what I said earlier about Agile today being a standard for tech delivery. It's a driver for digital transformation, a strategy for change management, and a tool for cross-functional collaboration and resilience. The biggest shift that I'm seeing right now, not surprisingly, is how and when to leverage AI. The answer, of course, is early and often, right? In digital transformation, leveraging AI is key at the very beginning of your transformation journey, say during discovery, customer journey mapping, and workflow analysis. And as a strategy for change management, leverage AI throughout the change lifecycle, from stakeholder analysis to reinforcement and coaching. And finally, as a tool for collaboration and resilience, the shift to using AI daily. Use it in meetings, during decision making, and when you're researching insights.
Yeah, it's so funny that you say that, because I've been talking to people about the third wave. Like, it was novel to need a website until everybody needed a website. It was novel to have a smartphone and an app for your company until everyone had a smartphone and you needed an app. And it's novel now to be using AI. And then you're talking about a world of people that every single day are creating new AI agents and new things to use. It's going to be as normal as using a computer or a phone and I don't think enough people are realizing that yet, but I give it a year at the rate it's going. So I love that you talked about early and often and how it works in there into the process and figure out where it works and where it doesn't, right? Where you actually need the human involvement, which I think is great. Okay, folks, we're going to take another really quick sponsor break. And when we come back, we're going to give these three a chance to do a power pitch. So get ready.
Visibility is everything in today's world, but getting noticed, that's tougher than ever. AI is making it easy for you to apply, to post, to connect, but it's also flooding the market with noise. Recruiters, potential clients, decision makers, they're swamped. They can't meet with everyone. And so many great professionals are getting overlooked every single day. That's why creating a strong professional brand is so important. But you might be thinking, I don't know where to begin. I don't know what content will work best. I don't even have the time to figure this all out. That's where McCoy comes in. You bring your experience and your goals, and McCoy AI will turn them into clear, compelling messages that make people pay attention. It helps you find the words, the proof, the stories that show your value. In minutes, you'll have short, powerful content for your McCoy Reel, your evidence on video backed by real results. It's designed to grab attention fast and to leave the right impression. You'll know that people are watching, and you'll know that your message is landing. All in one simple link, easy to share, easy to open, impossible to ignore. No guessing, no blank page, no wasting time, just a smarter, faster way for you to show your value. McCoy is free, but with McCoy Pro, you can create targeted reels for specific roles, clients, and audiences. Build your presence, grow your influence, land that next big opportunity. McCoy helps people get you in seconds. Download today from the App Store and Google Play.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Power Pitch. This is where each of them have 30 seconds and I keep the clock tracking. And today I want to hear about your philosophy for building thriving teams. 30 seconds on the clock. Ron, have at it.
I always anchor back to establishing trust as a foundational requirement towards empowering individuals. They need to be vulnerable with each other and discuss what they are good at, what they're not good at, and be allowed to make mistakes. This is a direct shout out to Patrick Lencioni's book, Five Dysfunctions of a Team. I can't recommend it enough. In it, he takes a fictional company and explores the barriers preventing teams from achieving high performance, with the absence of trust being the foundation and everything else snowballing from there.
So I think that we are going to have to start the Pro Voice Book Club. Oprah, look out. Because I'm not kidding you. I get the list that I'm getting on this show since I started hosting it is insane. And every time I hear one, I'm like, I want to read that one too with my free time. These all better be on like audiobook or I'm not going to be able to get through them all. That was amazing, Ron. Let's jump over to Megan. 30 seconds, my friend.
My philosophy, not shockingly, marketing is the bridge. So when internal teams and external audiences share a unified story, they all become invested. And that's when brands break through.
Oh my gosh, I think you need to make a bridge with the word marketing in it. That's probably already been done, but that visual is like popping through my head
Just
right now.
another t-shirt to add to the store.
It is another t-shirt. endless the merch that's going to be on this show. Jerry, pitch time.
Yeah. Engaged employees make you more money. Just the numbers are there. They spend more time thinking about your business. They engage your customers in the right ways. So employee engagement is not an afterthought. It's not an expense. It's literally revenue. It's your bottom line.
I don't even know how to respond to that because it was so true, right? I don't know why companies don't. I think it's almost like you have to remind them every day of that, right? Like this would be like a mantra where in order for them to see that and not lose sight of it, because we're seeing decisions all the time left and right these days that are clearly void of that. And it's unfortunate, right? It's costing the money, certainly not making the money. Excellent power pitches, my friend. I like all three philosophies very much, which leads us to the last and final segment of the day. It makes me sad. Mic drop moment. This is your chance to absolutely shine. I want your one explanation of what leaders can do today to make sure their teams thrive. We're going to start with Megan.
Yeah, just building on what Jerry said. Aligning internal messaging with what you're saying externally. When your team believes the story they're telling, they become its best ambassadors.
Fantastic. Ron, your thoughts?
This goes back to the point I was making earlier about creating trust. And it all is encompassed in creating psychological safety. I like to call it creating a safe space. And it starts with strong leadership, being vulnerable, and be willing to get into the trenches with your team, to experience what they experience. Also, they need to have the humility to admit failures. I think Jerry had mentioned that earlier. And to share that they don't know everything and they need to listen more than they speak.
Yeah, that term psychological safety has come up a couple times now in other shows. I think we're going to have to do a whole episode on that because I think it's vitally important. Great stuff. Jerry, mic drop.
Ron just hit on it. Communication is about listening. Leadership is about listening. If you're all focused on talking, what's my message? You're doing it wrong. It's all about how is it landing? What do my people need to hear? What are they curious about? And what do they care about? So leadership is about listening.
I love it. Folks, this has been a powerful lesson. Hopefully you took away some solid nuggets from this. Just so you know, every single one of these Pro Voicers could be in your back pocket giving you advice. We are so lucky to be partnering with subs.com, and each of them has a subs link, which you can find here. For less than a cup of coffee, you can actually subscribe and get direct messaging on an unlimited basis with each one of them, getting your questions answered by a real human being, customized advice for you. Check it out. It's absolutely amazing. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for being on the show today. It was invaluable. Check them out on subs. You can also always find them on LinkedIn. And folks, until next time, remember, if you want to win, you've got to work it daily. But more importantly, if you want to be seen, heard, and understood, you've got to use your Pro Voice.